first reaction was, oh my goodness, something broke. It looks like there's a broken project. But as I looked at it, I noticed it was art. And it was purposefully meant to be there, and it was pretty cool.
My friend asked me, what do you think this is? And I was like, a spaceship landed. And then I had an argument with a passerby about whether it was a spaceship or not, and whether there would be aliens. And then we walked on, and then we went and saw the eyeglasses, and then we knew that someone must have done it on purpose. It wasn't just like a random pile of rocks. It was a spaceship. We got really excited. We're like, oh yay, somebody played a prank.
Well, at first I was kind of surprised because there was cardboard on campus, which seemed a little odd, just flying around. Then I realized that there was actually supposed to be something. It looked like kind of like a salt shaker. So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of neat.
Once I realized that it was a salt shaker, I could see it. Before that, it looked like cardboard.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what it was at first, but I can definitely, it makes sense now.
It looked like a spaceship, to be perfectly honest with you. But that's also because I didn't see the top of it. And the rocks just kind of looked like something spewing out of the spaceship, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, I first saw it through that window over there, and I was like, who left an old box on the ground? But then when somebody, told me what it was kind of, it's a salt shaker.
Kind of thought it was a rocket ship, but then I realized it was a salt shaker. I thought the rocks at the bottom were a really neat idea. I thought it was interesting.
I thought it was modern art.
Looks exactly like the sculpture outside of the Museum of Modern Art in Fort Worth.
When I saw the signpost later, I knew that it was art.
The fact that the salt shaker is right by the cafeteria.
Well, now that you mention it, I guess it's good that it's by the cafeteria. But it's in a good place for everybody to see it and react to it.
But that some miscreant salt shaker had somehow escaped from the cafeteria and found its way outside and also grew mutantly massive.
Well, because it is here, I saw it a lot more, so I got to think about it a lot more, because it's in a fairly public place. It got me thinking, why does something that looks like a spaceship that crashed sit in front of Hager? But as I talked to people about it and looked at it more, it's a salt shaker.
Well, at first the location didn't mean anything, but it's next to the cafeteria, so I guess that makes sense.
Well, it's right by the cafeteria, so, salt, and I just made the connection between food and sleep. Right.
Well, at first I thought that's a really good place to put cardboard because it's covered from the rain.
Well, when I realized it's right outside the cafeteria, I thought that was really clever.
That is clever. I agree.
It's definitely changed my view of salt shakers. That's pretty funny. And it hasn't changed my view of the location because I already recognize this as being the cafeteria. I like the idea of thing, but I think maybe somewhere a little less predictable, like over there, like the glasses being lost in the little tiny field of grass, or the Lego piece being over by the tower.
I'm not really sure it's changed my view of a salt shaker.
Well, it's a salt shaker. So, the salt shaker is salt. It's an artistic representation of the salt shaker. In my opinion, the salt shakers has not changed since doing this piece, I'm afraid.
Made me think that salt shakers aren't just boring tubes with holes at the top.
I would argue that salt does not fall out the bottom of the salt shaker, it falls out the top.
That this sort of in a little bit more, with a little more subtlety, and in a place where something like that would have fallen and then for whatever reason become large, and so that your attention is drawn to the smaller things, right?
I thought it was a very unique idea. It was very clever.
Yeah, I appreciate all the hard work that went into it. Very intricate.
hidden away somewhere. But looking at them again, they're really awesome. I like the idea a lot.
I got really excited by it because I knew what it was. It was eyeglasses.
Looks like something broke or someone left some garbage here, because it is just cardboard and there isn't any really outstanding appearance that makes it look different from cardboard, except that it is in the shape of glasses. And my first reaction definitely was, I hope CSO picks that up pretty soon.
Well, I was like, that's just really neat. I mean, it's a cardboard pair of glasses.
I recognized what it was.
Me too. And my reaction was wow, because it looked like it took a lot of work.
I was really impressed by the amount of cardboard that was on there.
Actually, my first reaction was, there's a new project for the freshmen. I'm glad I didn't have to do this one. With this one, I like that it has. I like that they stacked it rather than trying to form it. So instead of creating a hollow form out of the cardboard, they stacked it and striated it. It reminds me of Tara Donovan, a couple of other artists. Although Tara Donovan does not make objects. I actually like the glasses part more than the arms, because the arms have this paper taped over them to try and make them look more tapered and smoother. So they seems to subtract from the piece a little bit. Whereas the terraforming that you have on the glasses is really nice.
My initial reaction was, is it supposed to be like that because it's supposed to appear as being broken? Or is it been flailed or something, you know, fallen apart? And as soon as I came up to it, I gathered, or at least assumed, with my incredible intelligence, that it was in fact supposed to be that way pretty clearly, because it seems to have been placed.
I also, first thing I noticed was I used to call it terraform, the stacked. And I was thinking of center of gravity and physics, how they're all overlaying each other on the bridge. That was my initial reaction in loving that.
Well, my first reaction was, oh, so that's the art project, because I had actually read the part of the sign earlier, and I thought that the sign was the art project.
I was able to tell what it was pretty quickly. Obviously, it's like a pair of glasses. First, I thought it was kind of interesting how all the textured layers are put together. It looked like it took quite a bit of time to put the piece together.
Right now, it's kind of over by the science center. I don't know. It's pretty good place to put glasses with all the professors and stuff.
Well, since it is here, and since it wasn't moving, and it was laid out in a very specific way, I began to think, well, this is here on purpose. And it does look like glasses. And I guess since it is next to the buildings where a majority of the classes are held, it kind of represents like an intellectual stimuli.
Well, it's like, you know, it's by the science building and by the classroom here in Goldman. You know, it's like, I could see a connection between glasses and viewing the world through like science or through the eyes of, you know, literature, all the other classes that we are like enlightened. It's really neat.
Well, at first I was worried because I thought that it wasn't broken on purpose, and I thought that it being in a well-traversed location, somebody had kicked it apart.
Well, I could kind of see a connection between the science building and glasses, because a lot of scientists wear safety goggles and a lot of smart people wear glasses.
I made no connection.
The location didn't seem to have anything special about it. It was just a place to put a pair of sunglasses.
It's perhaps like this hilarious, like magnified view of something that's actually in the grass, and so now I've become something smaller. That's something to consider. And then of course, that's what I would consider, I think. Unless
Okay.
we're like Jack and the Beanstalk and there's actually like a massive giant somewhere, you know. A massive kind, not a small giant, dropping his glasses from above.
Well, I think it's really cool that the glasses will actually bend, you know, just making use of the actual functionality of the piece. It's actually pretty cool. They're not just static.
My friend and I had a discussion about whether that was actually how a pair of eyeglasses was constructed with the pin in the side like that, and we went to examine her eyeglasses more closely.
I'm really not sure about that.
I don't know, I thought it was really quirky that somebody would make a pair of glasses out of cardboard. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, me too.
Well, there was nothing here before, so I guess they removed the sunglasses, and I still think it was the place that the sunglasses did at that one time. But I think that sunglasses have not changed in here to the end.
Since it is a large object of something that is generally small, like glasses, I was really able to see the specific shape of glasses and how they're not so simple as the way I think of it because it's so small. But because it's a big, blown up representation of glasses, I can really see the complex shape and engineering that goes into glasses.
I suppose it makes me look at things a little more carefully, even just like in the grass.
I really enjoyed it.
Looked like a huge Lego piece that had fallen from the tower.
I immediately recognized it as a Lego, which I thought was really interesting because laying next to this tower like that, I thought, oh, it's kind of like those I Spy books where they insert pieces of everyday life like clothespin and whatnot, and they put it in right next to scale buildings.
I really like it. It's pretty awesome. It's kind of a random object for people to pick, but then again, it's UD, so...
Well, from afar, it looked like there was just something leaning up against the tower, and I couldn't tell what it was. And then I never got closer to find out, so I never quite realized what it was. It just looked like someone had left a suitcase some kind against the tower.
I came across it rather suddenly. I wasn't expecting it, and it kind of blends in with the tower. And at first, I didn't know what it was supposed to be. I thought that like a cardboard box had blown up against the wall. And then I saw that it was a Lego, and it was like, I'm in Legoland! And then my friend pointed out to me that this means that the tower is actually built out of Legos. The whole campus was probably built out of Legos.
I thought it was clever.
Me too.
It was really neat. I mean, it's a Lego piece.
Well, as it was laying here next to the tower, I didn't see it quite as often, so I didn't get to think about it too much. But it is interesting about how the Lego is here next to this really tall brick tower. Kind of like when Legos, you use the Legos to build towers when you're a child. And this is kind of a tower made of bricks, which are somewhat more like an adult version of Legos.
Once I saw that it was by the tower, this building block, I thought that was clever.
Yeah, it just kind of sparked my imagination, like, wow, you know, what if this through a tower built out of Legos this tall? That would be amazing.
Well, it is kind of a random location by the tower. Not a lot of people are going to see it, but I think, like, when people walk up to it, it's like, oh, there's a Lego right there? A little bit of a shock factor there.
The fact that it's askew and and leaned against the tower naturally made me believe that it was a part of the tower from the tower. It belonged to the tower.
Well, now that I see the Lego, I guess it kind of makes sense that it's a building block and we have the tower behind us, which is clearly illustrated with bricks. I guess that's kind of neat.
It's not very observable from the mall. It kind of hides behind the pillars here. So you don't really see it unless you're at a certain angle. And I think the suddenness of it was what surprised me.
Well, I played with Legos as a child, but that's kind of neat. So that brings up some good memories, I suppose.
Well, it kind of made me think about how those people who are very inclined to engineering and building, who are usually very big fans of Legos as children, they end up building things like this when they get older, and it really helped me appreciate kind of the work that they do.
I don't know, it just kind of takes you back to your childhood.
Well, I immediately imagined the entire tower being made out of Legos, which is pretty funny.
I've been hearing a lot lately about how much Legos hurt if you step on them. But this one doesn't look like it would hurt if you stepped on it.
Once again, it was very cleverly located.